National champion was the University of Michigan, so round of applause for the University of Michigan. A 19-5-2 record. They defeated Oakland University, Florida Gulf Coast University, University of Arkansas, Grand Valley State University, and defeated my friend Chris Van Timmerman here in the national finals 5-3. So congrats on the final appearance, though, Chris. You've won enough national championships for everybody. So congratulations. So congratulations to the University of Michigan. Player of the year was Cameron McAtee from the University of Arkansas. So a round of applause for Cameron. Cameron's not here this evening. The coach of the year was Cal Stripling from the University of Michigan. Unfortunately, Cal could not join us this evening. However, we do have a recorded message from Cal.
I want to start off saying that it's just an absolute honor to be recognized with all the other great coaches around the league. I mean, just lots of great names out there. You know, you have Don Headley, CVT, Brendan Ryan, Matt Sterling, Dylan Knox. Like, I could go on forever. Just lots of great coaches, lots of great hockey minds. And, you know, to be at the top of that is, yeah, it's just a crazy honor that I would have never imagined having. But yeah, thanks for all the votes. Thanks for, you know, the committee kind of putting faith in me. But yeah, it's really just a tremendous honor, and not something I'll take lightly. You know, I kind of had the benefit of working with some great seniors. I had 9 guys, and they just pulled a ton of weight. You know, I'm a young coach, obviously, but they did a lot, just making me comfortable, making everyone kind of respect me, you know, just kind of help things around in the locker room. So really just, yeah, I couldn't do that without those guys. Just such a huge thing to have in the locker room, as I'm sure all you guys know. And then, yeah, great assistant coaches, Nick Gowell, Greg Pine, Andrew Halliburton. You know, Nick Gowell, Greg Pine, both great players in this league. So we have like 3 pretty experienced guys that know how to compete in this league. And yeah, it just kind of makes things a little bit easier. Yeah, so it's not just fully on me. But yeah, I just couldn't do it without all these guys. And then, you know, it all starts with Jason Bartek. Like, he was ground zero to get this program kind of on the map, and I'm just really following in his footsteps. Yeah, same principles mostly, maybe a little different attitude with it, but yeah, it's just everything started with him, and I'm glad we were able to close everything out and get to where he wanted the team to be. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate everything. Yeah, won't take this lightly at all. It's been a tremendous year for me, one that I'll certainly never forget my entire life. And yeah, thank you all for, you know, giving me this honor.
All right. Thank you, Cal. Next up, we have the ACHA Women's Division II. The national champion was Sioux College. They were good, yes. Undefeated record, 26-0, pretty incredible. Their road to the championship, they're the number 1 seed from the Central Region. They defeated number 4, Rowan University, number 3, University of Delaware, number 2, Providence College, and they defeated number 2, Dakota College of Bottineau. In the national championship game, they defeated Northeastern University. It's the first national championship for the program. Player of the year was Lowen Power from the U.S. Naval Academy. She averaged over 1 point per game on defense, finished with 28 points on 17 goals and 11 assists. They allowed only 1.95 goals per game while she was on the blue line there, and the second player of the year for the U.S. Naval program. So congratulations to Lauren. Coach of the Year was Ashley Harper from the U.S. Naval Academy. It's her second award. She also won the award last year. Led the team to an 18-3-1 record, ranked number 2 in the Southeast region. They lost the National Player of the Year in 2022 in net and got within 1 win of the national championship this season. She's the 3rd Coach of the Year award in program's history, and she is here this evening. We're excited to hear from Ashley Harper.
first and foremost, apologies for the flops, wrong shoes. Taylor forgot to tell me to switch my shoes when I got here. So Taylor, thank you for that. But really importantly, thank you all for the honor. Thank you to W2 for the honor. I will say this year's unique to say the least. First and foremost, coaches never have a kid in September. Terrible timing. Terrible timing. But that is, I guess, how life works out. And, I'm grateful, most importantly, for our team leadership to hold down the fort while I was effectively on maternity leave. And as my team respectfully reminded me that I earned the superlative of most absences this season. So that was really great. And I say that in jest, but I think it really speaks to how well our staff and our team leadership was able to excel this season and to really emphasize the point that a team is never just one coach, is never just one player, and is never just, in our case, one goaltender. It's an amalgamation of teammates and people. And, we really had to relearn entirely how to operate. How do you run a team without a National Player of the Year goaltender who literally, was a brick wall? How do you run without a coach who was there every single day last year without fail and who's suddenly most absent? And that's where I'd really like to give credit to my assistant coaches. Ron Seifert, for those in the Southeast or anyone who has met him, he's the nicest man from Duluth, Minnesota, who has adopted Maryland as his home. And he is really a mentor for the team and my balancing force, his calm to my storm for anyone who's ever had to play against me. I'm sorry. And then we also have Paige Hawkshurst, who is our young gun hailing from Connecticut, just coming from Conn College. And thankfully, her husband is a submariner who got stationed at the academy, and she fell in our laps. And we've been really grateful to have her and her special teams brain, and most importantly, her sympathetic young coach's ears. So Ron and I didn't have to hear about any of that. And I say that in jest, but she ships out with her husband in the military, right? And the entire family moves. And so even though Paige has a home with us on the rink, she has to go where her husband gets stationed. So we're going to lose a really amazing coach as well as an amazing team leadership next year. And I will say massive credit goes to our unofficially impressed goalie coach, David Ross, who said, "Hey, I'm willing to help." And I said, "Hey, I'm out. You want to be a goalie coach?" And he said, "No." I said, "Well, fat chance you are." And David, like our goaltender Maggie, who learned how to play hockey last year. She learned how to skate last year, and she learned how to play goalie this year in 6 months. The two of them really made a team with our other goalie who learned in 6 months, Siggy. The three of them really led us, including a league championship in triple overtime against Villanova. And I think that speaks volumes to not only who our players are, but who our staff is. And most importantly, you guys all just saw Lauren Power up there a moment ago. When we say averaging 1 goal a game or 1 point a game, it could have been 2 goals a game. That kid's the first kid to pass the puck. That kid's the first kid to block a shot. That girl is the first one to skate it out of the net or out of the zone just to make sure our goalie doesn't see a shot, as any of the Southeast teams will tell you. If you want, go ahead and talk to Ken Deming at University of Delaware about Lauren Power and our defensive core and our captains who just absolutely crushed on the blue line this year. And ultimately, once again, the midshipmen have shown their discipline, their ability to play in all challenges. And I'm up here strictly because of them and because of their ability to adapt. And I will say our country will be safer with them leading submarines and flying planes and, driving ships. So thank you all for the award. And no, this one isn't me. This one's my team. Thank you.
Great job, Ashley. So on one of my overseas trips, I spent a lot of time with Al Murdoch, and we're in Italy, Al, and it's time change is different, and we're up at 5 a.m. And Al comes rushing in to breakfast. It's just me sitting there. And I was like, "Did you see the news? Did you see the news?" I was like, "Wow, what are you talking about?" He's like, "This movie star stabbed her husband with a fork." And I was like, what? And he's like, I'm going to screw the story up. Reese. No, with a fork. That was Al. I love you, Al. So Al got me on that one too. I thought it was great. So I thought I'd tell everybody. His hair was on. He was very excited about that. So Al loves it. Look at him. That was pretty good. I thought that was pretty good. So we'll move on to ACHA Men's Division II. The national champion was the University of Massachusetts Amherst. They had I'm sorry about this, I have to read these here. They have 18-8-0-1 record, the record of the championship as the number 1 seed from the Northeast region. They defeated number 6, Dakota College of Bottineau, number 3, Concordia University of Wisconsin, number 2, Florida Gulf Coast University, number 2, St. Thomas, number 9 in the Central University of Iowa, 4-0 in the championship game. It was the first national championship for the program. The National Player of the Year was Ian Malcolmson from Concordia University of Wisconsin. Ian averaged 2.11 goals per game in 35 games, finished the year with 76 points on 22 goals and 54 assists. Third nationally in points and led Division II in assists. All Central Region first team, Division II all athletic first team, Central Region Player of the Year, and the first Player of the Year award in program history. Coach of the Year was David Weaver from Montana State. Unfortunately, David is not here this evening. He led his team to a 26-7-0 record, finished ranked number 2 in the West region, the highest in program history, secured first Nationals auto bid in program history, and was the West region Coach of the Year.
I'd like to thank the ACHA for this tremendous award that was given to Montana State University and means a ton to us. Obviously, there's tons of people to thank with our program. When I started the program back in 2016, or when I took the program over back in 2016, the program was in jeopardy of folding. And through the help of many, many people throughout the last 7 years, we were able to turn the program around and make it to what it is today. A big thank you to Pete Cameron for all the work he's done over the last 7 years, and Nicole Yost and Natalie Weaver for all of their team managing they've done over the last 5 to 7 years. And there's just a host of other people to thank. Obviously, we'd be remiss without thanking the players for their dedication to both the sport of ice hockey as well as to Montana State and everything that they give to play this sport, and the commitment that they have to turn this program into what it is. And of course, to John Eccles, who's helped us along the way as the commissioner and a friend to help our program as it grows and to keep getting better and better. So it's a tremendous honor. I really appreciate the ACHA for everything they've done, and thanks again.
Move on here to the ACHA Women's Division I. The national champion was Liberty University with a 31-3-0 record. Their road to the championship as the number 1 seed included defeats over Miami University, Adrian College, and Minot State University in the national championship game, winning 3-2. This is the 6th national championship for the program and the 5th in a row. That's pretty incredible. Second Coach of the Year award as well in the 18-19 season. That's the wrong stat you put on there. That's not the Coach of the Year. So wrong bullet point on that one. So round of applause for Liberty University. The National Player of the Year was Hannah Stone from Midland University. You can give a round of applause. I apologize, the bullet points are not accurate on this one. So we'll move on here. The Coach of the Year was Jason White from Midland University. Unfortunately, Jason is not here this evening. I believe he is in town, though. Is that correct? So if you do see him this weekend, make sure you shake his hand and congratulate him. But congratulations on the Coach of the Year to Jason White. All right, so now we'll move on to the ACHA Men's Division I division. As I get my notes here. Apologies. Sorry, guys. All right. The national champion was Minot State University with an incredible 31-3-0 record. Their road to the championship as the number 1 seed included a defeat over number 17 University of Michigan Dearborn, number 8 Indiana Tech, number 5 Liberty University, and defeated Adrian College 1-0 in the national championship game. This is the 3rd national championship for Minot State University, so congratulations to Minot. I don't believe Wyatt's here. So. All right, the National Player of the Year from one of the organizations that I was fortunate enough to coach was Luke Reeve from Ohio University. Luke is the 4th National Player of the Year, or the 4th player ever in the history of the ACHA to get National Player of the Year and the Rookie of the Year. 75 points and 34 goals and 41 assists. He was 2nd in the nation in points per game, and he's the 4th Ohio University player to earn National Player of the Year. So congratulations to Luke. All right, I'm excited about this one as well. I know Leo. I coached at Ohio University for a long time. There's a long list of great coaches. I've coached there for a long time. My name is not on that list, but Leo's on that list for sure. So the National Coach of the Year for ACHA Division I is Leo Moran. He led Ohio to a 36-2 record and the number 2 national ranking. He won the CSCHL regular season championship, tying Iowa State for the most in league history. He was also CSCHL Coach of the Year, and he's the 3rd Ohio University coach to be named Coach of the Year. I wasn't one of those guys, Leo, so congratulations, buddy. So, round of applause for Leo.
I'm a little nervous because I spent the last 10 minutes trying to find a better joke than the spoon and the fork. So, yeah, no, I get it. No, thanks to all the ACHA members. It's a great recognition. Very much appreciated, and very excited to follow the footsteps of Craig McCarthy, Dan Morris, and not Sean. Hopefully we get Sean in the Hall of Fame pretty soon. I think he definitely deserves it. But yeah, just to be part of the Ohio tradition and the ACHA is a great honor for me. I'm sorry, I forgot the great coach Ashley, who won the award. All credit to the team. Hopefully my players don't fly ships and anything like that. But same ID. All credit to them. Very committed group, a lot of effort. They bought into what we wanted to do this year, and we did that with almost half of the rosters being freshmen, so we're excited for the future. Wanted to thank Jamie, one of our assistant coaches. He's done a tremendous job for us. And lastly, I'll thank my wife. It took a lot of convincing to bring her down to Florida, but always supporting me, motivating me, and telling me what we need to do on the power play. So, anyways, thank you everybody. Enjoy your night. It's a great pleasure.
So if you follow along on your program, this award is the Don Spencer Award. Am I good, Dave? Yeah. Okay. The Don Spencer Award, and all the awards can be found on our website. The Don Spencer Award is named for volunteer service, named after one of our founding members of the ACHA. Mr. Don Spencer was part of the group of coaches that started the ACHA organization in 1991. He served as the treasurer of the ACHA from 1991 to 95, and he was the head coach and GM of both men's Division I and II teams at West Virginia University. I think about this award because it talks about, volunteers and people that that are part of the ACHA, and I feel very fortunate now in my 5th year working with a staff of so many of these types of people that work so hard and believe in the ACHA and basically do bleed red, white, and blue ACHA every day. It's my honor to present this to a gentleman that has played a big part in our national championships, has played a big part in the ACHA for quite a long time, and came to Romania with us with the World Cup of University Hockey lately. And after that, one of the coaches just mentioned to Paul, our president, said, man, oh man, where would we have been without this gentleman helping us out? You know, and it was all about the kids and working hard for the kids, just like everybody else that was on that trip, and we're there to make a great experience happen for our student athletes. But this could be handed out to a lot of people, but this year it's definitely deserving, and I'm proud to stand up here and honor this to Russ Slagle. Russ.
First of all, let me apologize for my raspy voice. I ended up getting a cold from Rasty McGibbons on our way back from Romania, so this is the outcome of it. But a lot of people, you know, when you get ready to be involved with an organization, you really look hard and fast to see where you can fit in. And unfortunately, I wasn't the one that was looking to see where I fit in. Other people did. And one of the people I have to thank the most for that is Brian Moran. My son skated for Robert Morris College back in the day, excuse me, and when Brian started doing the men's Division I tournament on a 3-year rotation in Chicago, Tom Wenlett, rest his soul, asked me if I would help participate in running the tournament out of Chicago. And that was based off of my history of running tournaments for youth programs out of the Illinois area. So at Tom's wake, Brian came up to myself and Andy Storrs and asked us if we would come to Columbus for the first year that everybody came together and run the men's Division I tournament. And without a doubt, we told Brian yes, we would be there to help him. Well, the former executive director, Mike Wally, had asked if we would do more than one division, and we decided to do men's Division II. And so we ended up really working our rear ends off to try to make sure we can make it successful for men's Division II also. Well, I always tell people from that part forward to be careful how well you show people what you can do. Because it wasn't too far after that Chris Perry tapped me on the shoulder and says, hey, we want to bring you in to help us run the tournaments. And we want to make you our national tournament director. So without any hesitation, the answer was yes. But the whole point of the premises was it's a great honor to be able to work with an organization such as the ACHA and to be able to provide a service that I am able to give. I retired from the fire service in June of 2019 after a 30-year career. So my whole entire life has been nothing but being a servant, a giving servant by doing the work that I did as a fireman, and this that I do with the tournament stuff is right up that alley too. And for those of you guys that know me or don't know me, I'm the one guy that when you need something done, you make a phone call, you tap me on the shoulder, say, Russ, this is what I need, and I work my rear end off to make sure that I can get it done. And my goal every year when we do the national tournament is to make sure that the coaches come in and they don't have to do anything but enjoy the moment, and most definitely make sure that the guys and the teams when they come in, and the ladies when they come in to play their games, they have everything that they need that we can provide for them through the ACHA. I want to thank Paul. And I want to thank Craig for inviting me to go to Romania. What an awesome experience. I had a great time there. I was telling Leo and the group over there that the kids asked me when they realized they were going to be playing for against each other, which jacket I was going to wear, the USA jacket or the Canadian jacket. And I said, well, what you don't know about me, kids, is this. I said, I also have an ACHA jacket in my suitcase, and I will be wearing the ACHA jacket. So, but I really thank you guys for honoring me with this award tonight. I am here to work and work hard for the ACHA. As Craig said, I truly bleed red, white, and blue for the ACHA. It's a program that I believe in and I believed in for a long time. And it's just an honor to be part of it and be honored to be part of it with all of you folks sitting in this room tonight. So thank you very much for the award.
All right, we're going to move on to our Hall of Fame inductees for the 2022 class. Pretty excited about this one. We have some great Hall of Fame inductees. Some people who are very accomplished with their time in the ACHA. We're going to have Chris Van Timmerman introduce Jonathan Thibodeau from Saginaw Valley State University.
Good evening. It's my great pleasure to be able to introduce John Thibodeau to the ACHA Hall of Fame. John is the second Division III player to be inducted. I've known John for 17 years. For 6 of those, he dominated the D3 landscape and tortured me. John played for Saginaw Valley State University from 2006 to 2012, just shy of a decade that he played there. In that time, he amassed a staggering 424 points in 139 games, including one year we had 101 points. That amounts to 3 points a game or 1.6 goals a game in the time that he was there. It was my pleasure to coach John and a few all-star teams after the season was over. The one thing that stuck out to me from watching a practice that we had at Jolly Roger was how much he hit the net. So I watched for about 10-15 minutes before the rest of the guys got on the ice, and he probably took 50 shots and he didn't miss the net once. And it wasn't from 10 feet in front of skating around, and that was the reason why he was so great on the ice. I also took him to Europe in an all-star team that he was chosen for, but he couldn't go because he was recovering from an ACL injury and he was unable to play. But he came anyways, and he hobbled around Munich and Innsbruck, trying to do what he could for the boys and keeping them out later when I was trying to get them all in for the night. And even though he didn't play, he brought the energy to the boys on the ice and kept stats for me, so appreciate that. John is a pain in the ass to coach against. He wanted it more than anybody in the ice, but had the best time when he was out there. He enjoyed every minute he had the gear on, laughing with the refs, chirping me from the ice, skating by the bench, taunting me for one of the many goals that he scored against us. It was always fun watching him, and he's probably the most competitive player that I've ever watched or coached in my 24 years at Hope. He's a physical player. He never shied away from a hit and took his fair share of penalties, over 300 minutes in penalties, but always had fun doing it. John's received many awards, too many to go through, but just a few. He was the MCHC All-Conference first team every year he played. He was the MVP 3 times for the MCHC. He was first team All-American 3 times. He was the MVP 3 times for the ACHA. He won 2 national championships. He was the MVP of one of those championships. And my favorite, he was the 3-time academic All-American at Saginaw Valley. John's now a Michigan State police officer. His first 5 years was with the motorcycle unit, and he's now with the Michigan State Police Emergency Support Team. When I talked to him last week, he said, yeah, sorry, I was going out picking up a guy, whatever that meant. But, in his typical cop voice, everybody knows what those voices are like. Not shocking, John still plays and runs the Michigan State Police Department, which has 3 teams statewide. John's here with his lovely wife, Rachel, and 2 wonderful children, Emerson and Jace, also his father, Frank, and his wife, Tammy. It's my pleasure to bring John up here, who embodied ACHA Division III for 6 incredible years. Congratulations, John. Yeah.
I was just telling Chris that was a lot nicer than I thought it was going to be. So, thank you. Wow. All right. To say I'm humbled to be here in front of you all is an absolute understatement. I would like to give a special thanks to Coach Chris Van Timmerman for the nomination and the introduction today. Chris, as you probably all know, through his numerous awards himself, coaches Hope College, which was one of our biggest rivals at Saginaw Valley and long-standing top team in Division III for ACHA. I always enjoyed playing against Hope. They were a very talented group and very well coached. It also gave me the chance to play the game Many Faces of Chris Van Timeren. This varied between the intense straight face look and extreme anger. That's it, those two. On the bench, he was a very scary man. But off the ice, he always had time for a conversation and seemed to genuinely care. I got to know Chris a little more traveling with the U.S. Select Team as manager and water boy, as he stated. While on that trip was the only time I saw Coach and had an oh crap moment. And as he mentioned, we were in Munich, Germany, and it was New Year's, and we were specifically told to be in by a set time. And for those of you that don't know Chris, he's a stickler on times there. Let's just say the boys were a little late that night by maybe a couple hours, and we tried come sneaking back into the hotel, but again, we're in Munich, so there's like gates, and the hotel is kind of a weird setup, and there's security, and we got to get into like this one specific door, and he's sitting there in the main lobby. And none other than just CVT just looking at you with that just look of disappointment. Luckily, I didn't have to play because I had a torn ACL. Everyone else got bagged. So cheers to me on that one. Chris, thanks for everything you've done over the years, from the small talks when our teams were set to battle to the calls for the MCHC select teams and the ACHA select team. Checking in on me when I tore my ACL, much appreciated. You got me back on my skates, finding me a spot on the D2 ACHA North Region select team for their all-star camp in Philly. 6 months after my surgery. So I really appreciate that. You were the first one to get me back on skates. You're a true ambassador of the ACHA and always want what's best for the players and teams, and for that we all thank you. This is a little long. If you want to grab drinks, I totally get it. I would like to thank my family who joined me here today. My dad, Frank, who worked way too many hours so my brothers and I could have whatever we needed, and his wife, Tammy, who is always there for us. My beautiful wife, Rachel, who's dealing with my 2 kids right now. My sweet daughter, Emerson, who's in the pink dress coloring over there, and my hellion of a son, Jace. I had a little part typed out for him, but he's actually been pretty good tonight. He hasn't jumped on anyone's table, and he hasn't spilled stuff all over. So, good job, Jace. Thank you to my brothers who created the competitive monster that lives within. The endless battles were epic and always seemed to conclude in us being grounded. It was either due to breaking some sort of property within our house or someone else's, or ending up with a dental or hospital visit due to something on us breaking. Of course, thank you to my mother, who was always there for us, who drove me all over the Midwest to play the game I love, and those hospitals and dentists. From the time I started skating until the time I finished the ACHA, I always knew when she thought I could be skating a little harder, because she'd be sitting in the stands looking at me with this death look, and she'd be, skate harder. Stop yelling at me, Mom. Jeez. I've been here before, actually, at the ACHA annual meetings. Back in 2011, I was serving as vice president for Saginaw Valley. And does anyone know who Rob O'Neill is? I'm sure some people do. No? All right. So it's 2011, and several of us are sitting at the Tiki Bar. The TV switches, and we see President Obama taking a podium. And he says this: "Tonight, I can report to the American people and the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda." Rob O'Neill is a Navy SEAL that took the shot. Well, 3 shots to the face, to be exact. He was a unit of SEAL Team 6 with the 4 best Army helicopter pilots. They flew into Pakistan, with prototype helicopters. They breached exterior walls to a compound and doors to a main house. SEALs flowed into every room doing their jobs. Rob O'Neill and a teammate make it to the staircase where they know the last line of defense is supposed to be. His teammate takes a shot and they push up the stairs to the last room. They make entry and his teammate jumps on the first guy, suspecting a suicide vest. O'Neill steps into the room with clear shots on bin Laden, and the rest is history. Rob O'Neill was a very established SEAL, but was just one guy within a team. Without every other individual doing their job, the team would never succeed, and we probably wouldn't know who Rob O'Neill is today. I stand here in front of you today, and this story is relevant today because you hear my name and you see some of the stats that were up, and that's all great. But you only hear my name because the individuals that I played with sacrificed quite literally their blood, sweat, and tears for the success of a team. My success on the ice wasn't possible without all of them doing their jobs. Within our alumni page, one of the former players posted the Hall of Fame posting, which was great. Thank you very much for doing that. Though it listed some awards from over the years, it missed the awards that I was most proud of. The award of two-time ACHA national champion. I was just one individual trying to do my job within the team. And to win that title as national champion, that's what always our goal was. Never the individual awards that came along the way. The first of these national championships came my third year on the team. We had gone through a coaching change prior to the start of the season, and Ken Bain was named our head coach. I actually ran into Coach Bain at the conclusion of his interview when he was just offered the job to head coach the team. I introduced myself as just one of the players on the team, and he looked at me. He told me, I don't have any players on the team yet. And he would see me at tryouts. That was Ken Bain. I ended up making the cut for that team. But Coach Bain made clear that the lack of effort and individualism would not be acceptable. He was big on hustle, heavy on skating, and required us to be there an hour early for warm-ups. We practiced at 6 a.m., and then once high school started, we practiced at 7 a.m. I am not a morning person. He held us to quick shifts, and we would make up for lack of talent with effort and physical play. About 2 months into the season, we had a practice that impacted the team for years. In the weekend series, I had a long shift, and I would be made an example of. Monday morning practice came, and Coach lined us up on the blue line for 30-second drills, as he normally would. This consisted of skating blue line to red line over and over and over again. The difference on this day is that he spoke about my long shift and had everyone except me take a step back off that line. The whistle blew and I started skating. Whistle, off for 30 seconds. Whistle, here I go again. Whistle, off for 30. Each time he stopped the drill, he used the time to talk about how it isn't possible to skate for as hard as you can for 30 seconds, multiple shifts in a row. I'm a very stubborn person, so while I'm skating, I'm doing the math in my head, like, how many more times can he do this to me? And I was like, you know what? I'll just go till I puke or pass out. We'll see how it goes. The whistle goes to go to Coach's mouth, and I hear one of our leaders, his name is Tom Legacki, say something along the lines of, F this, if he skates one of us, he skates all of us. The whole team was bagging because of my long shift. Unsolicited, willingly bagging themselves so I would not be alone. That one moment changed our team and bonded us over pain and showed me that every one of those guys was willing to be in pain with me so I would not be alone. This changed my game. At that moment, I decided I would not be outworked on the ice, ever. I could not let everyone else down that had my back when it got hard for me. The team went on to lose only a few games for the rest of that season and overall winning that first national championship. That same type of mentality got carried into the next year, and we won our second back-to-back. I was lucky. I was lucky because I had the best teammates. I had line mates over the years that were some of the most skilled players in the country, and my coaches, though they worked us hard, were phenomenal. So with that, thank you to my teammates and my coaches. Lastly, thank you to the ACHA. Thank you to all of you, those that coach and those that keep this running behind the scenes. The ACHA has quite literally changed my life, as you spoke of earlier. I was only at Saginaw Valley for a baseball scholarship, but through having the opportunity to play hockey in college, I was able to play on the same team as my brothers. I was persuaded to join the Michigan State Police, where I still work, and I now run a hockey team, or the hockey team, and a tournament benefiting Special Olympics of Michigan. I met my lovely wife through friendships within the team, and now have my beautiful family. Almost everything I have done can somehow be traced back to the team, and therefore this ACHA. So again, thank you for this incredible honor. Thank you for having such an influence within my life. And thank you for continuously making an impact on players all around the country on a daily basis, whether you all recognize it or not. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jonathan. We're also here to honor Chris Wilk. He'll be inducted into the Hall of Fame next year. He is not here this evening, but he'll go in with this class, but he'll be here next year to accept his award. So originally, when I got here, I was asked to induct my friend Greg Powers. And it grew into, hey, why don't you just take the mic and try to run the whole show, which has been a great honor. But it's going to be hard to list all of Greg's awards. For those of you that don't know, Greg is the architect of building the fastest NCAA Division I team to reach the NCAA Division I national tournament. He took over, I would say, a middling to fledgling club hockey program at Arizona State, grew it into an ACHA national power, grew it into an NCAA Division I program, that plays in one of the most beautiful buildings in the world, and a team that consistently is reaching the NCAA Division I national tournament. In 5 years, I'll list some of his just accomplishments here while in the ACHA. In 5 years, he had a record of 164, 27, and 9. And we'll talk about a lot of those wins here in a minute. He won the national championship. He was National Coach of the Year. He had countless outstanding players that played for him. But I'll talk about how I met Greg. I met Greg, many of you will know Dan Phelps. This is back in 2010 or 11, somewhere around there. I had left the ACHA at Oakland. I was coaching some junior hockey, and I had an opportunity at the NCAA level. And the University of Arizona, not Arizona State, but the University of Arizona had a head coach opening. And I was working a hockey camp with Dan Phelps. We were having dinner that night, ironically, in a restaurant down the street from where I live now, in East Lansing, Michigan. And he said, what are you going to do next year, Sean? And I was like, I don't know. I'm looking for an opportunity. I applied to the University of Arizona, but I haven't heard anything. And he was like, well, let me call my buddy. I'm assuming he's going to call somebody at University of Arizona. Let me call my buddy and see what's going on. And that buddy was Greg Powers. Greg knew me very little, but helped me get an opportunity to interview with the University of Arizona. And obviously I ended up getting the position and having that job. But Greg had tremendous foresight, because at the University of Arizona during those days, we played ASU 8 times a year. So I was there for 3 years. I played Greg 24 times, and I won 1 game. one time. I think Brian Moran told him, this makes it even funnier, when he talked to Greg. He said, Greg, why are you getting Sean that job? You're never going to be able to keep up with U of A with Sean there, and that's complete opposite of what happened. Yeah, one win through all that time. But all the accomplishments, all the accolades, everything Greg has done, and I've known Greg now for a long time, and it was in all the years in the ACHA, and even now when we're down the street in all these Division I meetings, it's never about ASU and it's never about Greg. It's always about how do we grow the ACHA? How do we make the ACHA better? How do we make NCAA hockey better? And that's a tremendous attribute to have as a leader. And I think that is why he's had so much success. Your success, Greg, is everybody here's collective success. And we look up to you. Everybody in this room is proud of you. And I am honored that you asked me to do this. And I'm honored that you're my friend. And you absolutely deserve this award, man.
Geez, Sean, that was good stuff. This is such an honor. It really is. What this organization means to everybody that goes through it and that lives it and eats it and sleeps it and breathes it has been put on full display tonight. Sean said it, John said it, and I feel the exact same way. So Sean, thank you for the incredible introduction. Thank you for your friendship, all the great battles over the years. Sorry, you were wanted. Yeah, I guess if you could call 1 in 23 battles. But no, thank you. And I want to thank Chris Garofalo at Stony Brook for nominating me for the Hall of Fame and the committee for the induction. It really is just an incredible honor. The memories I have of the ACHA as a player and a coach, I was a kid, grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana, and thought I'd probably just go play Division III hockey somewhere, and maybe St. Mary's in Minnesota, maybe Ohio University in the ACHA, and a head coach at Arizona State by the name of Gene Hammett saw me play at the Chicago Showcase. I was a goalie, and so he called, and he was persistent, and he was really aggressive in trying to get me to go to Arizona State. I'd never been west of the Mississippi before. And so I begged my mom to fly to Arizona State and visit ASU, and fell in love with the place, and the rest is history. We had a good run there as a player, and then obviously got involved as a coach, and here I am today. So it's been quite a crazy, wild ride. But it all goes back to Gene being persistent and getting me to go to ASU. So I want to thank Gene Hammett as well. I mean, everything I have in my life, just like John, just like Sean, it all goes back to my experience in the ACHA. It all goes back to what I learned as a college athlete. Obviously, the trials and tribulations that you go through as a coach in the ACHA, it's not easy, right? Nobody coaches in this league to get rich. Nobody coaches in this league for accolades. Nobody coaches in this league for anything other than that they love the game and they love their players. And that's a fact. And so, that's the biggest piece of advice I can give any coach in this room is never make it about yourself, always make it about the kids. And if you always make it about your players first, above everything else, then you're going to have success. And they're going to play hard for you. But everything I have in my life, I owe to my experience as a player in the ACHA, going to Arizona State, getting my degree from Arizona State, meeting my wife at Arizona State, now having an unbelievable family in Arizona. I've been there now for, 24 years. I'm getting old. But everything I have in my life, I owe to this organization and my experiences in this organization. So I can't say that enough. I had the honor of playing against, as a player, legends of this organization, like Joe Batista, like Doc Murdoch. Actually, my first road series as a head coach was at Iowa State, and we swept the Cyclones, Doc. Yeah. you forget that one? Yeah. But to have the opportunity, to coach against such great coaches and great people, it just, there's things I've never forgotten. You know, I mean, I was lucky enough to coach my very first year as a head coach against Leo Golombieski, who was an ACHA legend and the longtime head coach at the University of Arizona. So to say that I not only got to play against Leo as a player when he coached, but coach in his very last year as a head coach at U of A was a tremendous honor as well. You know, Joe Batista at Penn State, on and on. You know, great people here like Brian Moran, and in my opinion, no offense to certainly Brian, I think the greatest commissioner in all of hockey, and I'm biased, I have a West Coast bias, is Chris Perry, who was our commissioner in the West Coast Hockey, or Western Collegiate Hockey League. And I actually known Chris a long time. He's unbelievable at what he does, and it's great to see you tonight. I learned something new about Chris tonight. I had no idea that his beautiful wife, Giovanni, was actually blind. So I had to say it again, Chris. Yeah. So it's great. It's just so great to see so many great people that mean so much to me and everything that we've been through. And talking about players, you know, everything goes back to players. Everything goes back to you as a coach. If you get off the bus with the best players, then that's what it's all about. You know, and in the ACHA, I've absolutely can look back at my time and the national championship and the 3 Final Fours and all the great things that we did at Arizona State, and just say we had the best players because we did. You know, and you know, kids, you know, that were a part of that national championship team like Colin Heckel and Cale Delinsky and Robert Levin and Danny McAuliffe and Jordan Young and Liam Norris, on and on. You know, I am not here without them. My family's not here without them, and I'm close to those kids and every kid that wore our jersey today. And one thing I'm really proud about at our program now, we have an unbelievable, it's a crown jewel of college hockey, our new arena, Mullet Arena in Tempe. It's amazing. So hopefully, you know, everybody can get to a game there at some point or another. But one thing I'm really proud that we did at Mullet was we built a history wall in the main concourse that everybody can see. There's an NHL team playing in our arena right now as a tenant. There's tons of events, high-level hockey events in that arena, but the history wall dates back all the way to 1979, to the infant days of hockey on our campus at Arizona State, where you know, we've celebrated that extensively as a program. We have adopted everybody that's ever worn a jersey and played this sport on our campus as alumni, because we wouldn't be where we here as a program where we're at today at the NCAA level without any of those people. And they're all celebrated in Mullet Arena, and I'm really proud of that. Even Lindsay Ellis here today has done an unbelievable job building our women's program in the ACHA, so I'm really happy to see her here today. And just hockey is, in general, as a sport in our state, the growth. We have a great college program down the road at GCU that Danny Roy's built. You know, and still a strong ACHA program at ASU with 3 men's programs and 1 women's program, and I think that's probably going to grow soon. Hopefully we get multiple teams at that level at ASU. So, you know, I'm rambling here, but I think lastly, you know, I want to thank the guys that coached with me at the ACHA level, Adam Blossi, Scott Jacko, Ken Lind, who was our GM and gave me a chance as a head coach. And I can't thank everybody enough. This organization means so much to me. This is a tremendous honor for me, my family, and I will display this ring very proudly for the rest of my life. So thanks, have a great night.
Well, I just want to congratulate all the award winners here today that were recognized. Certainly our new Hall of Fame members, congratulations. And I want to thank our staff, Brandon and Dave, for all your work behind the scenes here with all the technical videos and stuff, and reaching out to our coaches that could not be here. Thanks again to our sponsors for being here tonight. We really appreciate that, and hope everybody enjoyed themselves tomorrow.